You believe that children are being abused by pedophiles in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
So why are you sitting down talking to me? Why aren't you sitting down with the police right now?
I've told the police. In fact, if anybody wants to go back to 1993 when I was interviewed by the Santa Barbara Police Department, I sat there and I gave them the names. They're on record. They have all of this information.
I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like. Could it? And then you find out later on the track that you are exactly on track with a lot of this stuff.
A matter of human hunting. And when a mind control slave such as myself was stripped of clothes and turned loose in the woods, I was then hunted by George Bush, Dick Cheney, and Bill Clinton.
I'm saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
And they are.
And they do not want me saying what I'm saying right now.
Are you saying that they're pedophiles?
Yes.
And that they're still in this business?
Yeah.
¡Comieron humanos! ¡Asquerosidad! ¡Comieron humanos! Yo no estaba enterada de nada. Que había, o sea, de los asesinatos sí, pero que habían comido humanos. ¡Humanos! Fuera la carne.
For years, Mel Gibson was treated like Hollywood's biggest outcast, canceled, mocked, and pushed out of the spotlight after a series of very public controversies. The industry painted him as unpredictable, controversial, and impossible to work with. But now, decades later, old interviews, resurfaced clips, and online discussions are suddenly bringing his name back into the spotlight, and people are starting to ask a very different question. Was Mel Gibson really the villain, or was there something bigger going on behind the scenes? Recently, social media exploded after several older videos resurfaced, showing Gibson speaking about disturbing experiences he claimed to have witnessed inside Hollywood during the early years of his career. These clips, some dating back to the late 1990s, have sparked intense debate online, especially as conversations around Jeffrey Epstein and powerful elite circles continue to resurface across the internet. Gibson, once one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, saw his career take a massive hit after multiple scandals and controversial statements. Studios distanced themselves, projects disappeared, and many believed his Hollywood chapter was over. But supporters now claim his downfall wasn't just about personal controversies. They believe it may have been connected to his outspoken nature and refusal to follow certain industry expectations, claims that remain heavily debated and unproven, but continue fueling online speculation. Back in 2004, Gibson shocked the industry by independently funding and producing The Passion of the Christ. At the time, major studios reportedly refused to finance the project, making it one of the riskiest personal investments in film history. Against all odds, the movie became a global phenomenon, earning hundreds of millions worldwide and proving Gibson still had massive influence, even without Hollywood's backing. Fast forward to today, discussions surrounding Epstein have once again reignited public curiosity about powerful figures, secretive circles, and the darker side of fame. Over the years, Epstein's case exposed connections between high-profile individuals, global elites, and serious criminal allegations. While thousands of documents and testimonies have surfaced through investigations, much of the information remains complex, disputed, and under ongoing scrutiny. Online communities have linked these resurfacing conversations to past statements made by celebrities, including Gibson. Some claim he hinted at troubling behavior within elite social circles long before Epstein's crimes became widely known. Others argue these connections are exaggerated internet theories. Regardless of where the truth lies, the timing of Gibson's resurfacing interviews has reignited massive curiosity and speculation. Adding fuel to the conversation is Gibson's involvement in projects like Sound of Freedom, a film centered around child trafficking awareness, which itself sparked global attention and controversy. Supporters view his participation as further proof of his willingness to tackle uncomfortable topics, while critics argue the narratives surrounding the film have been politicized and misunderstood. What makes this entire story so gripping is the collision between Hollywood power, public perception, and the constant battle between image and reality. The entertainment industry has always thrived on glamour and illusion, but every so often, stories emerge that make audiences question what really happens behind the red carpets and flashing cameras. Whether Mel Gibson is experiencing a true career comeback or simply riding a wave of renewed public curiosity remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, his name is once again dominating headlines, and the debates surrounding Hollywood's hidden culture are far from over. As more documents, testimonies, and insider stories continue to surface, people around the world are watching closely, trying to separate truth from rumor, fact from speculation, and history from internet mythology. And if there's anything this story proves, it's that in Hollywood, the real drama often happens far away from the movie screen.
I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be, because a whole place can't be like, Weird Town, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them and they tell you don't go into the house on the hill, and it's like that. And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like, could it? And then you find out later on the track that you are exactly on track with a lot of this stuff. Not specifically on track, but that you could, that some of your worst nightmares were real.
But the story doesn't end with Mel Gibson being pushed out of Hollywood, because according to many online discussions, once he was sidelined, the industry quickly shifted its focus toward new faces, actors who were rising fast and becoming the new center of attention. One of those names was Jim Caviezel, the actor who portrayed Jesus in The Passion of the Christ. His performance was powerful, emotional, and unforgettable, instantly turning him into a global star. But behind the success, rumors and speculation started circulating about the pressure and experiences he faced after stepping into such a massive spotlight. Over time, both Gibson and Caviezel became associated with projects that focused on darker, uncomfortable global issues. Years later, the two would become linked again through the controversial and widely discussed film Sound of Freedom. The movie, produced by Gibson Studio and starring Caviezel, turned into one of the most unexpected box office stories in recent years. Made on a modest budget of around $14.5 million, the film shocked Hollywood by pulling in more than $250 million worldwide. But it wasn't just the financial success that grabbed attention, it was the subject matter. Sound of Freedom dives into the disturbing world of child trafficking, telling the emotional story of families torn apart by criminal networks operating across international borders. The film begins in Honduras, following a struggling father named Roberto Aguilar. Desperate to give his children a better future, he is approached by a woman presenting herself as a talent scout, promising modeling opportunities and a chance at a brighter life. But what begins as hope quickly turns into a nightmare when the children are abducted and sold into trafficking rings. Caviezel's character, a federal agent dedicated to fighting child exploitation, works to dismantle trafficking operations and rescue victims trapped in these horrifying networks. After successfully rescuing one child, he learns that another victim remains in captivity across international borders. Facing bureaucratic roadblocks and career risks, he makes the dangerous decision to step outside official channels and continue the rescue mission. The story then shifts into an intense undercover operation involving secret negotiations, risky sting operations, and alliances with individuals who have deep knowledge of criminal networks. The film paints a chilling picture of how organized trafficking rings operate and the extreme dangers faced by those trying to stop them. When the movie first released, many viewers saw it simply as a dramatic thriller based on real-world crimes. But as global conversations surrounding Epstein and elite trafficking allegations resurfaced online, some audiences began connecting the film's themes with broader discussions about powerful figures and hidden criminal networks. Supporters argue that the movie shines light on a very real and devastating global issue that often goes unnoticed. Critics, however, warn that online speculation has blurred the line between verified facts, dramatized storytelling, and conspiracy-driven narratives, and as these debates continue, Mel Gibson's name keeps resurfacing, with some viewers claiming he had been warning about corruption and exploitation inside powerful circles long before these discussions became mainstream. Others remain skeptical, pointing to his controversial history and urging audiences to separate verified investigations from internet speculation. Regardless of where people stand, one thing is undeniable: the conversation surrounding Hollywood influence, global trafficking crimes, and public perception has grown louder than ever. The real question now is whether this renewed attention will mark a genuine comeback for Mel Gibson, or if it's simply another chapter in one of Hollywood's most complicated and controversial careers. Because in an industry built on image, power, and storytelling, sometimes the stories behind the camera spark even bigger conversations than the ones shown on screen. So now the spotlight turns to you. Do you believe Mel Gibson was speaking out long before the public caught on? Or do you think these connections are being exaggerated by internet speculation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to dive deeper into another shocking Hollywood controversy, make sure you check out the next video on your screen.